Ever noticed how things seem to spike in price when you most need them? While this makes sense from a supply-demand standpoint, these days it's almost as if retailers know before it's even happened. Electricity during a heatwave, water during a drought, toilet paper during, whatever that was, and most recently, fuel. Look, I get that producing these things becomes more expensive at the source, and there's less to go around, yet somehow, distributors always seem to pull in record profits during a scarcity event. I wonder why that is. Price gouging is not simply a case of things being more expensive, it's things being more expensive because the customer has no other choice. Simply put, it preys on vulnerability. Natural disaster? Better expect a surcharge. Shipping crisis? Let's add panic tax to that. Distributors know that when people are desperate, they tend not to think rationally. Oh, you're stranded? Well, normally a ride would be $50, but seeing as you've got no other option, it'll be $150. Don't like it? Well, feel free to take your business elsewhere. Oh wait. As stated, I get that supply-demand is a thing. That being said, there's a world of difference between a simple market adjustment and outright cartoon villainy. Covering costs is quite literally a cover story, and feeding that line to the public essentially means you can set whatever price you want. Now, I'm not an economist, but explain to me how a 5% increase in shipping costs translates to a 25% price increase for customers. Look guys, if you're going to try to make highway robbery sound classy, you could at least don a mask, pistol and rapier while shouting, "Stand and deliver, your money or your life." And the worst part is, the suppliers often get screwed just as much as the customers, not having the option to take their business elsewhere. I grew up around farmers, so believe me, I know. And don't even get me started on the jargon that their excuses take the form of. Increased operational overheads, market volatility, investor uncertainty, or unprecedented global conditions. Translation, sucks to be you. Let's delve into dynamic pricing a little more though, shall we? Hotels during major events, flights during school holidays, rideshares during rain. Cost ballooning would be a more apt label. One of my favourite examples, though I know it's not exactly a necessity, is alcohol, though I live in Australia so necessity is somewhat debatable here. Anyway, if you buy a case of beer, a 24-pack, you'll typically pay around $50 to $60, translating to roughly $2.50 per beer. If you're dining out or at the pub though, you're lucky to get one for under $12. Yes, I know that venues have things like licenses, rent, and insurance to cover, but seriously? A near 500% markup? It's no wonder no one wants to go out anymore. What's even worse though, are event tickets. Don't fall for the base price that says $150, there's no way that's what it'll say at the checkout. I'm probably going to go over this more in depth in a future video. Despite what companies say though, price gouging has nothing to do with fair distribution. Quite the opposite, in fact. They're doing it right now, cutting off fuel supply to lower socioeconomic regions so they can stockpile it for higher-end customers. Because nothing says efficiency like only the rich getting the essentials. Better to bleed them for all they're worth when they've got a lot more in them, am I right? Heck, you don't even need an emergency to price gouge, just label a product limited edition or a one-time offer. This is how artificial scarcity got invented, because what's better than a shortage that you as a supplier have complete control over? And we're not done yet. There's also shrinkflation, where the price stays the same, but the product gets smaller, with the most famous example of this being half a chip packet being nothing but air. Remember in my subscription services video when I said we'd all be paying for air in the future? Yeah, turns out we're already there. Look, I get it. Business has to turn a profit in order to be worth the effort. Still, there's something uniquely absurd about a system that treats desperation as a revenue opportunity. Can you imagine if lifeguards charged an upfront fee before proceeding with a rescue? And the worst part is, even when the crisis ends, the prices rarely go back down to what they were before. And yet the businesses will simply claim the economy has shifted since then. Oh, screw you. Now, I will admit that tough times do happen, and supply chains aren't always as sturdy as we would like. Still, when did we as a society view that as a chance to line our own pockets instead of pitching in to help everyone else, I wonder? All I'm saying is, When shareholder profits are directly proportional to customer pain, we might want to take this as a sign of a sick economy. This isn't survival, it's sport. But hey, if you want to run a business that routinely profits off of screwing your own customers over, don't be surprised when they form an angry mob to come burn your shop down. So, why is price gouging a thing? Because desperation kills bargaining power, and need overrides choice. Because, when you're stranded, freezing, or starving, you can't afford to be a choosy shopper. The seller has you over a barrel at that point, and they know it. You know a society is in trouble when things like price caps, profit scrutiny, transparent pricing, and regulation that actually works sound like radical concepts. So, the next time you hear someone say market forces, remember this is just a cover for ruthless opportunism. Simply put, life's basic means of survival shouldn't come at a premium, especially if it's for entirely artificial reasons. If you've ever had to do a double take when you saw a price tag, leave a comment while hitting like and subscribe. What's the most outrageous markup you've ever seen? Until next time, be sure to shop savvy out there. See ya!